Everything I have written here wasn't anything specific for this video, but it was rather an assignment, a formal writing assignment in school, and in English to be specific. And since it is Team Fortress and history behind it and such, I thought, you know what, why not make this assignment into video? So here it is, guys. A school project made into a YouTube video. What do you say about that?
Ah, peace.
A long time ago, back a few decades, it was something called the 90s. This is where our story begins. In the 90s, a company by the name of Valve made a revolutionary first-person shooter horror game they called Half-Life. The game engine it used was one of the best at the time, and the way Half-Life presented its storytelling was, and has thus far, been praised and loved worldwide. Never once during the game does the camera leave the eyes of the protagonist, Gordon Freeman, hence it never breaks the illusion of you being there, you being the protagonist yourself. Half-Life has received many awards throughout the years, but more interestingly, it has spawned multiple other games using the same game engine. The two giants that spawned from Half-Life were none other than Counter-Strike and Team Fortress Classic. Counter-Strike, or CS as it is also called, was more focused around tactical co-op. The player earned money by killing other players and doing objectives, and with this money they could buy equipment such as Kevlar and, more importantly, weapons. Team Fortress Classic is another type of team-based first-person shooter that instead of letting the player choose their equipment and weapons, it is all predetermined. 9 classes, all with different statistics on health and speed and such, different weapons, and it is even going as far as to give all classes different personalities. This, however, was not the very first Team Fortress game. Quake Team Fortress was a mod for Quake Arena that pitted two teams consisting of 9 different classes against each other, all having different abilities and such. Valve took a liking to this, and after Half-Life, they started creating a mod for Half-Life that would be like a remake or reboot of Team Fortress. They called it, as previously mentioned, Team Fortress Classic. With the success of Team Fortress Classic, as well as both Half-Life and Counter-Strike getting sequels, it was inevitable that a sequel was going to be made for Team Fortress as well. There were a couple of iterations of the sequel, Team Fortress 2, but they finally decided their mind. They released some alpha footage of the game to the public and it received positive feedback. Then, in 2007, it was finally released. It wasn't released alone though, but rather in Valve's Orange Box, which included the games Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Portal, and Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 was very different from other first-person shooters with its cartoony, cel-shaded graphics, the stereotypical yet hilarious and lovely personalities of each mercenary, the huge difference on how each class plays and how they manage to keep the game realistic, while at the same time not at all, if that makes any sense. Later they introduced unlockable weapons and cosmetics, hats, shirts, etc. to the game, as well as trading. This not only changed the game forever, but also the gaming industry as a whole. With the trading came the so-called Manconomy, which basically is the economy of Team Fortress 2. Suddenly, the items in the game had real-life value and money. Keys in-game costs in between 2 to 3 euros. There are even items as expensive as over 500 real-life euros. What makes the game truly great is how long it has survived. You don't need to pay anything to play it, hence the term free to play. and it's one of the few games that is just as relevant, if not more, nowadays compared to the 8 to 9 years it has been out. A masterpiece I love with all my heart. So that's it for this, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It took me a while to edit, and just in general hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like if you, well, did enjoy it, and give me feedback, comment what you thought and such. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe if you want more of the crazy shit I upload on this channel. I'm so crazy, you know. I'm so crazy I even have snake in the name. That's so crazy. Yay.